Uh, so many of the participants have joined, so I would like to start the session with a brief introduction. So, good afternoon to all of you. So we today we all have gathered here for the most crucial topic of our creative startup program, and the series of lecture that were delivered till now. Now is the time for compilation. Basically, we need to compile the information in and take it to the format where it can be presented to the investor community for fundraising. So this ideal pitch deck for fund is going to play a very crucial role in terms of startup and pitching for fundraising. And to deliver this lecture, we have with us today Mr. Ajay Davessar. He is going to deliver the lecture on ideal pitch deck for startups. And giving his brief introduction, he is a senior advisor, corporate affairs, UNSDG cities, and is also working as chief marketing officer at Testing Experts. He also is founder director of Levesta Enterprises Private Limited, Matra, and Budget ICU. Besides this, he has a vast experience of working with various industries, centers, and playing a very vital role in all these sectors. So, without further ado, I would like to request Ajay ji to please proceed with the lecture. And we are really looking forward to have great insights from this session.
Hi, thank you, Sadaf, so much for your kind introduction. I hope I am audible clearly.
Yes, you're very clear.
Perfect. And welcome everyone on the call today. Thank you, Sadaf, for inviting me. I've been looking forward to talk to all of you, um, especially this subject of startups is very dear to my heart. Um, Currently, I'm in India, but I worked across different countries, US, Europe, in the startup economy. We have set up incubation in Europe, Cambridge University, Gothenburg in Nordics, in US. Currently, I am also running the incubation center for Nestle, the South Asia Incubation Center for Nestle is in Manesar. So my company runs that. Um, it so happened by design and also by destiny that my career started shifting towards the startup economy about 15 years ago. Um, and this subject started interesting me. And as every enthusiast would do, I just did not read about it or consult about it. I started my own two startups. One of them is today North India's largest chain of ICUs called Budget ICU. The other one named Matra is now a leading artificial intelligence and automation company with clients like Pepsi, Haldiram, Amul, Sagar Ratna. And this is my second journey at startup. Way back in 2000, I had done one more startup which I sold off at a profit. That's when uh, that's when Cap Gemini picked me up into E&Y consulting, and ever since then, from the year 2005 and six, I've been involved in the startup economy. So very happy and privileged to be with you all. I was intending to be there in person with you, but then a Malaysian government is investing some money in India. Their MD was supposed to come day after, but he landed in Delhi. So I had to travel to meet him. So next time, hopefully, I'll see you again in person. But here we are today on the most important topic. All hard work has been done, all ideas have been put to paper, and now it's time for us to go and ask for money. So let's go directly into a PPT I've made for you all, which I'll share my screen on. And Please feel free to keep asking your questions as we go along the business of understanding. And my intent will be to uh, answer all your questions. I'm not able to look at the side screen of my computer as I speak. So feel free to pause me and say, hi, we have a question. And let the questions keep rolling. Don't wait for the end. Of course, I can take questions in the end as well, but don't wait. Like Sadaf said, I'm a consulting CMO to a lot of companies. This is my third company. I'm turning it around in the startup. So when startups grow bigger, they also take my services to catapult them into bigger league. So two US companies have turned around, one listed company in India, and now this is the third one where I'm trying to double their revenue. So here we are. Now, what investors actually look for beyond the slide. So you have a slide deck which you send to them, or you get a chance to present to them. Most likely, you will first send the PPT to them, given their busy schedules. I'm also on the committee where I approve funds which come to me I'm on the committees of Startup India and STPI. So when a deck comes to us and or at Nestle Incubation Center, uh, what is it that we look for? Is I'm going to share with you, right straight from as real as it can be. So what do investors look for? Let me just go around the room and see anybody around the room who wants to speak up and say, hey, this is my idea of what the investor is looking for, or this is what I think I should present. Feel free to unmute yourself and please speak up. Anyone, any idea, any comments, most welcome. So, what comes to your mind when we go to such a pitch? So, I can see Bonsai, we can see Dhaninder Garg, Ellen Gupta ji, Rachi Bhatnagar, or whoever else. I believe there's some people in the room as well, right, Sadaf? So, anybody?
Uh, well, I have shifted the session to online mode,
Okay, thank
so
you so
now
much.
we have all the participants here with us.
Lovely. So, anybody, please feel free to unmute. Let's make it interactive. These next 2 hours should be worthwhile for you all to learn something today. So, therefore, I'm encouraging you to please.
Yeah, Mr. Ajay, I'm Rachit here.
Hi.
And yeah, hi. Nice speaking to you. Actually, what I think, we have gone through the complete presentations and the course, various modules. I feel the most important thing would be the TAM, SAM, and SOM. I mean, how the market operates at the end and how to scale it up, maybe a 10x and 20x.
Correct.
How would they, if they invest the funding, how will they earn and when they can exit with a profit? That's what I think they look for.
Very nicely put. Very, very nicely put, Rachit. The market opportunity is a very big component because remember, like you rightly said, an investor is looking at the exit before the entry. Correct?
Right, sir.
Before an investor talks to you, he's looking at an exit. Just like in the share market, when we buy a stock, we're looking at a profit. We want to sell it. Whenever we are doing any investment, be it property, be it stock market, commodities, or businesses, um, the investor is looking at an exit. So you very rightly said, what is the market size? What is the TAM, SOM, SAM? What is the addressable market? Definitely yes. So very good point. Thank you. Anybody else, please? Anyone else, please speak up. Prince Osho, Manu Sharma ji, Rahul, anyone? Okay. Keep your questions coming as I roll forward. So yes, very rightly said. There are various things which might come to your mind. I will try to detail out each and every question, possible areas of our discussion. But let's see uh, what the common mistakes founders like you do in the pitch deck. As you can see, There are a lot of points here. But the moot point here is investors are filtering risk. We all know that as human beings, we have still not fully evolved from the reptilian minds as a human race. Our front cortex always gauges risk before the benefits. So, from that human evolution point of view, and also by nature of their work, investors are looking at filtering risk. So, the first mistake which founders do is they do not address the risk. Now, what could be the risk? The risk could be lost money, the list could be lost opportunity, the list could be legal cases coming their way by being associated, and aplenty. I'll give you an example. We were working with a quick service restaurant, QSR, in India, one of the very prominent ones, which deals in chai business. And the idea was we were looking at uh, so they came to me and said we're looking for a tie-up with a big technology company and getting it funded, where we will um, use tabs at the check-in counter. So when the person comes to the counter to order something, a chai or a samosa or a coffee, he will look into the tab, and the camera in the tab will look at the face of the customer. He will recognize the customer and say, hi, Mr. Rachit, nice meeting you. So what are you having today? Your standard uh, good chai with biscuits on the side or something else. So kind of they were personalizing the experience. All was done. Technology was at play. They had done a demonstration, pilot, everything, and they said, "Wow, we are going to swipe the market clean because this is never heard of." And the customer doesn't even have to pay by only showing up the face. Once he says yes, there was a yes button. This is what I want to order. He clicks yes, and he's free to go back to his seat. The order will be served. All this was done, and then we had the investor in the room. Uh, Now, this is an example of how the investors filter risk. He raised a very valid point that people may not be willing to leave their facial data, their pictures of themselves, their children, their wives, families with a brand. What if this data is misused? Given that the laws in India are not as stringent, probably as of today, this could be a fail point. So the investor backed out. He says, no, this is too risky. I think sometime or the other, some issue will come up. Either the government will come cracking you down or some market inhibitions will surface and this will not fly. Well, the QSR was already doing good business. They had a lot of retail chains. They decided to go forth without an investor, and it was launched. Tabs were put in all the outlets and tied up to billing systems and payment gateways, tested, etc. Went live within about 30, 40, 60 days. uh, we surfaced exactly the same problem what the investor felt. People were not willing to leave their facial database with the brand. The QSR came back and said, no, okay, we will guarantee you, we're not keeping your data. We are only storing vectors. They started describing vectors to consumers like you and me, which we don't understand what a vector is and what is the image. Of course, I do. Being from technical background, you also might. But an ordinary customer, he says, I don't care. I don't understand what vectors is. You can recognize my face means you have some record of mine. I don't want you to do that. Please remove it. And you would go and see that these tabs are still on the terminals and nothing is happening on them. So investors are very sharp at filtering risk. Now, this risk may come from the point on no clarity on go to market, like our friend just now said. You're not sure what the market is. You have unrealistic projections. And most importantly, we have something called product myopia. Many a times we are so much in love with the idea we have that we are totally blinded, or we totally object any input which is coming on the contrary. This is called romanticizing the idea. And we also very popularly in investor circles say this is like a solution looking for a problem. So instead of a problem identification and then finding a solution, the person has an idea or a product which is a solution. As you know, product is a bundle of solutions or services, but he doesn't have a problem in mind. So product explained before the problem is clear. These are some of the ways an investor will judge you and be very careful of investing his money. Too much storytelling with too little proof. It's all story. It's all dream world. It's all uh, fiction. Is a risk which uh, now which is being portrayed. Look at the last line. It's very um, very interesting line, and it's assumptive. Deck answers questions that investors are not asking. Many times we make decks, which you will also do, which the investor is not even asking a question on, and that creates a lot of uh, risk red flag in his mind, because he starts going into those areas, and soon he finds out that that area is weak. So these most of the pitch decks fail because of this. And now, what are they evaluating? The fund managers are looking for market opportunity, as our friend very rightly said. Market, how big is the market? Why? Because if you are at whatever stage of investment, you are angel investor or series A, B, C, you are looking at an expansion. I'll give you a small example, a parallel example. Let's say you buy a stock at 100 rupees. You are hoping that, okay, what is the maximum it can go to? If that 100 rupees stock can go to 3,000 rupees, then you have 2,900 rupees to play with from 100 to 3,000. So therefore, if an investor is joining you at 100 rupees, he sees the potential that this stock will go up to 3,000 rupees. The market opportunity is large. Okay. And he then, once he's convinced of the market opportunity, he looks at his capability, the founder's capability to convert that market into market share. What is your background? Uh, and do you have any proof so far? Have you done something about it? Have you created a prototype which really signals that I can do it? And then we come to scalability. Now I'll give you three examples here. If you look at the circle of innovation has three circles. One of them is called the desirability. The second one is called the feasibility. That is it feasible to make a product like this? And the last one is, can a business model be created out of it? For example, if I say that I will make a pen which is 5 feet long, people may not be very desirous of having it, except as a showcase. If I want to make a pen which is 20 feet long, the desirability may not be there. Or if I say I have an idea that I will make red pens, what's new? What's the new desire you're chasing? So desirability is the first thing. What customers should say, wow, I want to learn more about this product or this idea. So desirability is number one. Second is feasibility. Whatever you're promising. For example, if I say I'm making a chair which will fly you to the sky for 2 hours and bring you back, everybody will be desirous. But is it feasible? Is it possible for us to make it technically? So desirability and feasibility, when they marry, we arrive at what we call the first prototype, the first uh, model we want to go to market with. Minimum viable proposition, MVP. Why is it called Minimum viable, the word viable signifies that it's viable. It is kind of feasible to do it. And then comes the last, can we create a business out of it? Many of the inventions are wonderful, technically possible, but fail because business cannot be made out of it. So you have to think, is it scalable? So in this order, market opportunity, your capability, some proof of your capability, scalability, and then risk awareness. Are you aware for the risk or not? Unfortunately, many of the PPTs which come to me or others when I'm in the forum is they have a fancy design, buzzwords, and long technical explanations. Not required. Investors are looking at market opportunity, your capability, proof that you have that capability, scalability, and risk awareness. Now, how investors read a deck. This is a bit of a busy slide, but let me just. So, firstly, it is said that the first 3 to 5 minutes are important. Anybody in the room who can give me some example of why first 3 to 5 minutes are important? Any ideas? Why do we always say the first 3 minutes are very important? First five minutes are very important. You make it or break it. The first impression is important. Why is it so?
I believe investors basically bet on a person. So when they interact, the first interaction which happens is they just analyze what kind of person and founder is in front of us. So maybe that can be the reason that first 2 to 3 minutes are important.
Dr. Sadaf, you're so right. You're absolutely bang on. People are putting money on the person, and then comes the idea. Absolutely rightly said. And therefore, first 3, 4, 5 minutes are important because that is the phase we call rapport building. If you walk into a room, or even if you're not presenting it yourself, your slides should try to build a rapport. Be very mindful that rapport is established in the first 3 to 5 minutes. Whether you like somebody or don't like somebody comes in the first 3 to 5 minutes. So you have to signal the following. You have to signal authority on the subject. You walk in and you should be signaling authority on the subject domain. And then you should be signaling a human value that while I have an authority on the domain, I am also human in terms of my humility, openness to ideas, willingness to collaborate, learn, and grow. Because only capability won't help. So, first 3 to 5 minutes, we always tell our uh, friends who come to us for coaching, please signal authority and vulnerability of being a human. So, you go in and say, look, I know this subject very well. I know the technology very well. I know the market very well. But that is all I am limited about. I am not as networked as you. I have not worked with as many startups as you might have funded. I'm not able to think at the scale at which you are. You've done this journey many times together. So I'm vulnerable there. I am human. I'm not Mr. Know It All. But I am very capable when it comes to my space. So therefore, Sadaf, you're very right. First 3 to 4 minutes, we have to signal authority on the subject and the fact that we don't know it all. Second phase starts, which is the backbone of the PPT. 10 to 15 minutes, you have to make the business model. Now, I'm not sure how many of you have actually worked with business models, but have you heard of the term called business model innovation? Anybody? Business model innovation. So earlier we used to have SWOT as one of the uh, ways of arriving at the strength of a business. But now we have something called business model innovation or business model canvas. I want to show it to you. The business model canvas is actually a very interesting concept, which I would recommend that you all study. and read about it more and more. This is a business model canvas. Every business, whatever it be, can be divided into these 9 blocks. The 2 blocks in the bottom are cost and revenue. In the middle is the value proposition, and on the right is customer segment, customer relationships, and channel, which you may call market. The yellow one is the market, and the blue one is the product or service. What does the product do? What are the key resources it consumes? What are the key partners it has? Now, when we see a slide with business model canvas defined like this very clearly, then we get a confidence that the person gets it. Otherwise, if you don't have a business model defined, there's a problem. Now, these business models, like our horoscopes, are 12 in nature. There are 12 business model canvases. 12. One of them, for example, is MSP, multi-sided platform. Multi-sided platform means there's a platform in the middle, this is the platform, and there are customers on both sides of the platform. Example, Naukri.com. On Naukri, you have on one side people who are willing to give you the job, the employers, and on the other side, you have people who are wanting the job. So, therefore, it's called multi-sided platform. It has both the job givers and job seekers. Other example is matrimony. There are grooms who are looking for brides and brides looking for grooms. They come to the same platform. Any other example which comes to your mind of such a platform? MSP?
So I think all this quick serving or like Zomato and Swiggy's, they also
Yes.
have similar model.
Very well said. Thank you for that. Very well said. Yes.
Ola, Uber,
Ola, Uber, yes, certainly. They are multi-sided platform. You're very right. Renting sites.
even Amazon also.
Amazon is multi-sided. So now once you start identifying that this is the MSP model, there are further research which has gone into this MSP model, and the investor like us is aware what to look for in this MSP model to cover my risk. For example, there's something called same side effect and opposite side effect. Same side effect means that if I have a matrimony side and I have grooms on one side and brides on the other side, as more and more grooms join me, join the platform, the same side effect says that on the same side of the platform, on the groom side, as the number of grooms join more, it will have a positive impact on more grooms joining me. So 100, 200, 300 grooms join. Certainly, because of the same side effect, that 300 will go to 3,000 or 30,000, same side effect. The more people join you on one side of the platform, the more likely are others to join. Opposite side effect says the more grooms join you, the more brides are going to join the platform. You might have heard the concept of anchor client. Whenever malls are built or malls are launched, you would see they always talk of anchor clients. Anybody, any idea on what is an anchor client? Anchor client in a mall?
So you're talking about anchor, sir.
Anchor, ANCHOR.
It's like a customer, anchoring to a one mall, or like they keep going again and again.
Gee, that's a customer. I'm saying I'm talking of an anchor brand. An anchor brand. I'll give you an example. Whenever a new mall opens, if there's a PVR which opens there, a cinema chain which is very popular, or a Haldiram opens there, these are called anchor brands. The moment you see, oh, Haldiram has opened in this mall, you are likely to visit the mall. Or, oh, PVR has opened, or Chayos has opened, or Starbucks has opened. Oh, if these marquee international brands, which are very popular, uh, when they open, most likely other people other brands are going to follow. This is called the same side effect in marketing and in this investment circles. So what happens is these malls are bending backwards to invite brands like Starbucks or Apple into their malls, and they don't even take rent, but rather they pay them money, or they would give you land, this space free for many years that just be into my mall. Similarly, in business model canvas, MSP, we generally see has this founder got an anchor customer or not. So we advise them, have you got an anchor customer? If he doesn't have an anchor customer, we risk flag it. Now, this is MSP. I'll give you one more example of the type of a business model canvas. It's called long tail business model. Long tail business model is like the example of a Archie's store or a Kirana shop. So the Kirana shop will sell you from a very costly piece of perfume to also a safety pin, or also a rubber band packet for 2 rupees, and or also some mouth freshener for 50 paisa. At the same time, he might have a perfume which will cost him 15-20,000 rupees, or other items which are much more costlier. So long tail means he has everything you can imagine as a need for the individual. So you go to a general provision store and he has everything. The long tail is the name given because it is a very long tail. But the tail gives you no margin. There's no margin in the pin. There's no margin in the rubber band packet. There's very little margin in the toffees he's selling, perhaps. But the long tail gets the customer in, and then once the customer starts visiting for a safety pin or a rubber band or a mouth freshener, he's likely to move up and buy higher items. And these higher items, there's a body and the tail. The body is where he makes most of the money. So one day you will start buying some, your shaving cream for him, or a shampoo for him, or some moisturizer for him, and slowly you will upgrade to buy more things from him. Therefore, long tail. Now, in long tail, there's a ratio between how many are the long tail articles and how many is the revenue contribution of the body of the business. So investors are very, very skilled and masters at first positioning you onto what business model you are from. The moment you give your idea, he is thinking, okay, what business model fits in here? And once he makes up his mind that this is the business model, he then is the master of the game, because there is so much research on every business model. How will it work? How will it fail? When will it scale up, etc., that he starts sizing you up. So you have to be also yourself aware that what is my business model. Clear? So this is where you have to explain your business model and the backbone. And of course, after that, the deep dive, only if interest is created. Most of the people, this is called the valley of death. After three to four ke beech mein, we call it valley of death.
So one small question for here.
I'm so happy you asked it. Please go ahead.
So but like you told, there are 12 kind of business models. So how do we decide, suppose we are pitching any product or services, that this model will fit business model? Well, the investor would like to have this kind of business model.
See, it's not that investor can decide what business model you can decide. By the nature of your business, the business model will fit in. For example, if I'm making a website for people to buy and sell old books, used books, then you tell me what business model is that? MSP, right? Multi-sided platform, correct? Because there's a platform on which some people are putting old books for selling. Some people are buying old books. So even the investor will know it's a multi-sided platform, and you will also know. But many times the founder is not aware that there are such business models which exist, and he doesn't read about those models. Does it answer your question, sir?
Yeah, that's right. Thank you.
Right? So we have to be aware, because only one model will fit in, just like 7 colors. Am I blue? Am I green? Am I red? And that's the truth about it. So even investor can't deny whatever it is, it is. So therefore, we have to be aware of what my business model is. What are the scalability anchors for my business model? So therefore, when you go and present the pitch, you're not just going with an idea or market size opportunity. You are looking at it from a business model canvas. And as I earlier said, business model innovation. How to innovate? This is a skill and a science which all founders must read and talk about. And this will also, of course, help you in growing your business tremendously because so much research has gone on this. So therefore, this is the value of death. If at the business model level, the investor sees a deck and says, "Oh, no, the business model is failing," he doesn't deep dive. Okay. However, if the deep dive only if the interest is created, and then uh, your first 5 slides should answer these 4 questions essentially. So what have we learned so far? We've just learned so far that investors are very risk averse. They are able to spot risk much earlier because the whole day they're doing is like I take about on some marathon sessions about 5 to 6 presentations a day. And if I've been doing this for 10 years, imagine how many ideas I would have heard and how many PPTs I would have gone through. So I can quickly judge a lot of things. So risk averse, how do we cover risk? By being very clear about who am I, what am I doing, what is my business model. And we understood earlier that I have to signal authority and human values that I am willing to collaborate. I'm not somebody who will push my own agenda. Now, if we go further,
So there's a small follow-up question there.
please do, please do.
So
I'm
there are
so happy.
in your experience, have there been any startups who are scaled but with a lot of risk? I mean, the investors are. I mean, the story is not. The investors are not ready to invest in there, but they have scaled to I think larger heights. Maybe like I think I'll give some example like Oyo or some other. Startups could be.
Certainly, yes. Certainly, yes. So the question is between some of these startups like Oyo growing up tremendously. The question is about sustainability. Now, an investor, many times we see a risk and we see that the risk is 5 years down the line. That 5 years from today, this is going to fail drastically. And we are in the first year of the business operations. We plan, okay, by the time the risk comes, we would be exiting in the third year. So they get funded, they grow, they are tremendous, but by the time it's fifth year, as predicted, they start slowing down or just wipe out. To your second part of the question, there are many businesses which investors did not fund because investors are also forming a judgment, and the risk quotient is never permanent. So today, the risk might be evident, but the founder is so smart and hardworking that he's able to cover that risk and carry it with him. Correct? uh, the risk-taking appetite of the founder might be more than the investor is judging. So you're right. Investor is not the final authority of God on the matter of deciding whether this will scale or not. He's just doing a personal judgment. Many businesses have grown without an investor. Who investors said risky, but they've done tremendously well. Does that answer your question, Rajin?
Exactly. Thank you so much.
So keep your questions coming because this discussion is more fruitful, as you all can see, when we are looking at specific case studies or examples of this nature. So let's go further. Ideal structure of a winning deck. Like I said, we should not have a solution looking for a problem. First, we should have a problem. What problem are you solving? Let me give you some examples. Either you're solving a problem which nobody has solved before. Okay. When Ola came, Uber came, they solved a problem which nobody had solved before. When Urban Clap came, they solved a problem which nobody solved before. So either that is the case, or you are solving a problem in a better way. So matrimonial used to happen. through newspapers, through social circles, through references. But somebody came and said, okay, matrimony.com, shadi.com, right? They solved the problem in a better way. Now, that better way could be subjective, it could be cost, it could be time, it could be effort, it could be quality of solutions, etc., volume, etc., whatever. But you added some value to solving the same problem, which was solved earlier, but differently. Does it make sense?
Yes, sir. Sure.
Right, Ajay? So, any other example which comes to your mind, ladies and gentlemen, of a problem solved first time or solved differently? Anyone? You can also use chat in the Google Meet to just put your ideas if you are in a network which is noisy in the background. So, don't hesitate. So, you've identified whether you're solving a new problem or you're solving an existing problem in a better way. Then comes the decibel of the problem. How big is the problem? How big is the problem? Have you solved a problem of threading a needle? How do we thread the needle? And there's a difficulty, but you now suddenly have invented something which makes it very easy. What is the scale and decibel of the problem you're solving? Are you solving a problem how to put bindi on the forehead in the right place? Of course, you might have solved the problem, but how significant it is in the life of a customer, or how big are the decibels of that problem? So, in this case, either you solve a very small problem or apparently insignificant looking problem for a large population, for a very large population. For example, you've seen this, these shoe wedges which help you put on a shoe. They're available whenever you buy a new shoe. They solve the problem of a large number of people of how to put a shoe easily. Or if you made a problem of how to thread a needle, you've solved the problem of a large number of people. So small problem into number of people who have that problem is a very good idea. Or you solve the large problem, a very large problem for a certain minimum size of people. That I'm solving, I'm a heart surgeon, I'm a brain surgeon, I'm a neurosurgeon. I solve a very large problem in the life of a person. Just like a criminal lawyer. So you have had some fate of luck and you are now facing some criminal charges or whatever be the case. He solves a large problem in your life. So problem definition is very critical. And then, of course, like I said, solution, market size. Now comes, once he's qualified your business model, once he's seen that you have a problem which you understand, the problem which you've sharpened. And I would like to comment here, many times what we see is how much the problem has been sharpened. You'll be very surprised to hear, and might have already heard, that as we spend more time on the problem, rotating the problem, dimensioning it, seeing it from different angles, the solution becomes evident. And this is the first principle of design thinking, where you say the more you think about the problem, the more you talk of different aspects of the problem, the solution starts becoming evident. So has the problem been really diagnosed, dimensioned, uh, is what they look for. And of course, after all this is done, they look for a product demo. It could be a product prototype, it could be an Excel sheet, it could be a working model, whatever, but they want to see the product demo. And then, as you can see, business model. And after business models comes traction. Let's stay for a while at the traction. What is traction? As you heard from me, business people are very, very risk averse. They do not want to take risk. So in traction, they are looking at signals that who else is a person like me who is risk averse but has trusted you after checking the risk possibility. I'll repeat. They look for people who are like them, who don't want to take risk, but they have trusted you and evaluated you on that risk and still invested. So generally, when your first round of investment, second round of investment, the third investor says, "Oh, two people have already evaluated him, and they are like my type of people who are very risk averse." He's likely to invest more because he gets the confidence that they have evaluated you nicely. Who else could be a person who would signal the same feeling to an investor? Any idea? Question is, who is a person who has got associated with you, and therefore by his or her association, your risk perception in the market has gone down. Investors feel, oh no, if this person can trust him, I can also trust him. Any ideas?
Co-founder.
Very right, Vikramji. A wonderful answer. The co-founder has invested his destiny with you. He has invested his time, money, fame, and loss of face with you. So definitely, who is your co-founder? Very good answer. Anybody else? I like that answer. Let me tell you, one other example is clients. Whenever clients give us business, they take a risk. The risk that I will pay you advance, but what if my product is not delivered? Correct. So if you have a client who, or a series of clients who have trusted your business, who have paid you advance, even when your product is not ready. So I'll very, very simple examples from our life around us. We look at a property which is selling, a new housing complex is coming up, and it's still groundwork, right? There's not even groundbreaking happened, but people are booking flats. People are giving advance that, okay, I want a flat on the second floor, third floor, but all you have is this plain ground. People are putting money with the risk that tomorrow the builder may not even make the towers. So investor will say, oh, so many people have already given you advance, even when your product is not ready. I can see the risk is being checked and being tested on you, and people are still investing. कुछ तो होगा आप पे, कुछ तो value proposition होगी, he is likely to fund. What else could be some example like this? So founder, second is the clients, third is the incubation centers like where we are today, like what Dr. Sadaf is driving here. Incubation centers are very, very also particular who to incubate and who not to incubate, because it's a question of their reputation. So my first business was incubated at IIT Delhi. I was working on computer vision. And the moment I got incubated, I had a lot of questions because IIT Delhi was lending me their name, although they were taking 2% of my business, but they were lending me their name. So third is, where are you incubated? So co-founder, clients, where are you incubated are some of the traction signals. So before you send a deck, try to see if you can get these three or some reviews by independent, intelligent authorities on that subject. So if I'm doing a business on computer vision and I get a very prominent business leader from the house of the known brands of the Bajaj, the Tatas, or Godrej to evaluate my business and put in a word that, oh, I've evaluated this business, it makes so much sense, and this is the need of the hour, etc., etc. So testimonials from experts also signal de-risking and traction. Of course, then comes go-to-market, GTM. We'll talk about it later. And then comes a very important, yes, please. Anybody has any question?
There could be also some platforms nowadays like hackathons. They're also like, their students have won some awards or maybe some kind of government grants.
Absolutely brilliant answer. Absolutely brilliant answer. Very, very right. Yes, certainly. You won some awards. Your idea has been, chosen as a finalist. Maybe you were the finalist one round at the Shark Tank. Maybe you were invited at Shark Tank, but you for whatever reasons, that's very right. These competitions, hackathons, awards, signal de-risking and signal traction. Thank you so much. I'm loving it. Please keep your contributions coming in. Go to market के बाद एक concept आता है moat. How many of you are aware of moat? Let me share with you. As these ideas are coming more and more to me, I'm Googling in front of you. So that we know all what a moat is. So this is a, does your startup have a moat? First, let me explain to you what a moat is. So see, this is a moat. Can you see my screen? Is my screen visible?
Yes, sir.
This is a moat. ये जो पानी है ना इस किले के आसपास, इसको मोट कहते हैं. इसमें यूजुअली क्रोकोडाइल्स छोटे छोटे होते हैं. द मोट का पर्पस है nobody can attack the castle. तो यहाँ पे हमने मूवीज में देखा होगा, गेट होता है जो रस्सी बंधी होती है, रस्सी को नीचे करते हैं तो गेट पूरा क्रॉस पानी के क्रॉस फैल जाता है, फिर उस पर आप चल के आ सकते हो, घोड़े जा सकते हैं, कैनन जा सकती हैं, बट उसके बाद गेट को पुल कर लेते हैं. सो ये मोट मीन्स दैट आई हैव क्रिएटेड अ हेज around my business. I've created a boundary wall around my business. I've created a defense mechanism where competition cannot eat me. Okay. So now let's go back to our own PPT. Let's say you have a wonderful idea and the competition can easily hire all your people by giving them double salaries. The investors are looking at कि मोट है आपका नहीं है. आपके अगर सारे employees are lured by giving 3 times the salary by Reliance, who wants to be in that space and doesn't want anybody to even flourish. Mind you, it's a very, very tough competition and people are very, very ruthless. What is your moat? Any idea how you can form a moat? How will you form a moat?
Making them shareholder of the company. EOS schemes.
Very nice. Very well answered. You make them partners in growth. Correct? Any other answer? The core team, the technical person, the salesperson, the marketing person, you make them a partner in the company. You give them stock options, employee stock options, or you give them growth linked incentives. But you essentially keep everything which is critical to you in-house. So if you are a business person, you want a technical product, you make a technical co-founder, you make a marketing person co-founder. So this is how you de-risk by the team. As you can see, team creates a moat, number one, or patents create a moat. If you have a patent, then that patent or a process cannot be replicated by anybody else. If carbon paper is a patent, then that's it. You created a moat, correct? Or you have created some financial asset. You've created some physical asset, which is a moat. So today, if I want to quickly, I launch a quick service restaurant and I have 30 shops in Punjab. This is what we did with Budget ICU, by the way. We are today 30 ICUs in Punjab are operating, and that's my moat. So many big companies have come. For them to create 30 ICUs will take at least 2 years. 2 years. So my moat is 2 years. 2 साल तक वो मुझे पकड़ नहीं सकते और 2 साल में मैं कहाँ का कहाँ पहुंच जाऊंगा. So moat is not only in terms of inability to acquire you, but how difficult it is to chase you or acquire you or reach where you are. Correct? So insights, IPs, physical structures, team, you constantly think of creating moat. You constantly think of creating moat. What is my moat? What is my moat? And mind you, the moat is not created before you are successful in go to market. There's no point creating a mode at the solution level. No point creating the mode at the demo level. You only create mode once you go to market, competition with a team. And like I said, then of course you want to tell them what is the financials and what is my ask. Coming back, ladies and gentlemen, what does an investor want? Like we said, a real pain. Is the pain real or is it unreal? So one of my seniors, Shrikant Shastri, he was in a company called The Solutions, which was acquired by Publicis Group. He is a very, very renowned startup guru. Me and we were discussing someday, we were on the same panel, and he made a very nice remark. He says, don't sell vitamins, sell painkillers. What does it mean? It's saying vitamins are good to have. I would like to have a vitamin. That's okay. If I don't have it today, nothing's going to create a panic in my life. But painkillers, if I have a severe pain and you don't get a painkiller, right? So selling Bernol when the finger is burnt, it should be that severe a problem you're solving. Make sense? Make sense?
Yes, sir.
Any example of a real pain? A real pain. When Uber came, it was a real pain in Delhi and big cities to get a cab or get an driver to, charge the right amount of fare to you. It was a real pain. Or to get a taxi at the remotest corner, middle of the night. It was a real pain. People were like struggling. And you know that what all kind of uh, jugars or techniques people would deploy. They would talk to friends, or they would keep numbers of the drivers. Ki bhai aa jana. Taxi stands were there, and it was a real problem to find a communication uh, vehicle. Real pain. Any other real pain? Finding a job was such huge pain. You go door to door, carry your CVs in hand, talk to friends, email them, pay visits, phone calls. It was real pain. So they solved it. So real pain and a large group affected, like I said. How many people are affected by it? Are you solving problem for a very small group, left-handed people in Denmark? Denmark itself has a very less population, or left-handed people will be 100. And so what problem are you solving for 100 people? So that's will come TAM Samsung. Okay. Evidence that the problem exists. Do you really think the problem exists, or you're just exemplifying it that this is a problem, but it does not exist? Okay, for example, people struggle with productivity. This is a weak example of a problem which you think existed. People struggle with productivity. There's no data, there's no research, you're not sure. However, a strong example is mid-sized manufacturer lose 12 to 18% output due to unplanned downtime costing 3 to 5 crore annually. This is a strong example. In Haldiram, I'm trying to solve a problem. They are having 200 crores worth. I'm not giving the exact figure because of competitive scenario here. Roughly about 200. The roads as wastage of products. चिप्स लेस का पैकेट आया, उसमें हवा निकली हुई थी, या खोला तो उसमें खराब था, या उसमें पिन होल था, सनलाइट से खराब हो गया, whatever. 200 crores is a real problem, and a big one, right? So if somebody can solve that, uh, then you can say, oh wow, you're worth it. I would like to fund you. So this was the problem. Then the solution has to be very, very simple. What do you do? How it works? Why is it better? And avoid technical architecture. Early in the slide, sorry. Avoid technical architecture early in the slides, because investors are not buying the product, they're buying the business. Remember, they're buying the business, they're not buying the product. If investor is buying you, for today, for example, I have 30 ICUs in Punjab. many investors came to me and said, we are interested to buy or invest in your business, not because they want to run ICUs, but because they wanted to use these ICUs for data research. They would anonymize the data of patients getting treated and do some medical research on what kind of treatment suits what kind of situation. So he's buying business, not the product. He might change the product. Many times this is called pivoting. How many of you have heard of pivoting? How many of you have heard of pivoting? Pivoting the business. Okay, pivoting means just like pivot. Where is the fulcrum of your seesaw? Amazon pivoted business differently. What was Amazon doing earlier? Anybody? Before it made Anji? Selling books. So Amazon किताबें बेच रहा था आसानी से बैठ के शांति से. It never imagined कि मैं ये बन जाऊंगा. Investors came and said, okay, let's repivot the business. So investors को जितना हम product समझाना शुरू करते हैं, हम उसको market दिखाना शुरू करते हैं, just keep it simple that for now मेरा product market fit arrive हो गया है. PMF जिसको हम कहते हैं. Product market fit has arrived and I want you to now scale it up. So when PMF is arrived and you have to scale it up, the investor is buying business, they're not buying product. So ये हमेशा याद रखिएगा टिप. We have to sell business and therefore business model बेचना है उसको हमको market size बेचना है, उसको हमें अपनी टीम का मोड दिखाना है कि भैया ये business को कोई खतरा नहीं है और हमारी capability demonstration. तो वो business market size, like we said, they do care about TAM, they do care about serviceable market, realistic entry. Mistakes which founders make is they usually huge global numbers that are not relevant to their reach. We say this is a 26 billion market globally, but I'm starting a small startup in somewhere in Ladakh. And they're like, okay, don't build projections on the global market. First acquire one small piece of only Ladakh, Leh and Ladakh. Get successful there. And that's why, in our case, when we started launching in Haryana. We spent huge amount of money launching in Himachal. And then we realized it's not working out. We said, okay, now let's focus only on Punjab. So Punjab, and 30 ICUs only in Punjab. Because realistically, why only Punjab? Because the hospital which we own is in Kharad, 100-bedded hospital. And we wanted these ICUs to be spread in the interior. So from Kharad, we could not service Haryana. We could not service Himachal. So it was unrealistic. So we fell flat. And way back, then we realized that only the mistake is don't think global numbers. Think of and present the local numbers. Then show the segment you can realistically win. That this segment I will win. Okay, if this is the customer profile I will win. I will win. What did Nykaa do? What were many brands? Only women, only children, only elderly. This is my segment. I will win it. Okay, at Nestle recently we incubated a business called in nutrition bars. So they have picked up nutrition bar as my category. I make only nutrition bars. And that is the category I will win. Very happy. Valuation at about 1,500 crores. No problem. I make only toothbrushes. I make only toffees. Okay. So very critical for us to look at the segment. And they say you have to be very, very pinhole sharp. Pinhole sharp, mile deep. You have to be deep at least 1 mile because that is the kind of people try to take you out of the ground. It will take them ages to even pull out the entirety of you, like long routes. So anchor yourself into a segment and dominate it. And that gives you the moat as well. So this is what the investors are looking at. Now we come to a point called go to market. You have heard of GTM. What is go to market? What do you take to market, right? How will the customers discover you?
Just a small one question in the previous slide.
G.
If we pinhole our category or the segment, And suppose that fails somehow by some disruptive technology or disruptive product, that gives us a strong shock maybe then.
देखिए, एक आपने बहुत अच्छा कॉन्सेप्ट रेज किया है, उसको हम कहते हैं फेल फास्ट। फेल फास्ट का कॉन्सेप्ट है, ऑफ कोर्स यू राइट। हम अपने रिस्क को डाइवर्सिफाई करके अपने इस सिचुएशन को तो बचा सकते हैं। इसमें हमको एक जजमेंट लेनी होती है कि मेरा कंपटीशन कितना है। फॉर एग्जांपल, इफ आई एम ओपनिंग अप अ ढाबा इन अ रिमोट हिली एरिया जहाँ पे दूर दूर तक कुछ भी नहीं है खाने को, तो मैं उस ढाबे पे मैगी भी दूंगा, अंडे भी उबालूंगा, मैं पराठे भी बनाऊंगा, मैं शाम को उनको दलिया खिचड़ी भी दे दूंगा, वॉट एवर फ्रूट सैलेड भी मेरा मिल रहा होगा, है ना। सो आई एम लाइक डी रिस्किंग माई सेल्फ, लाइक यू सेड, पिन होल नहीं करना चाहिए। बट बट आई एम ग्लैड यू आस्क्ड दिस क्वेश्चन बिकॉज दिस इज सिचुएशनल। अगर मैं बैठा हूँ दिल्ली के पहाड़गंज रेलवे स्टेशन के बाहर, जहाँ मतलब thousands of ढाबाज आते हैं, then I'll go pinhole. I'll say मैं तो ये आलू के पराठे बनाता हूँ, ये छोले भटूरे ही बनाता हूँ, and I'm known for it, right? So then you go pinhole. So very relevant and right question. It is more on the situation and the judgment you have.
Right.
Does it satisfy you?
Yes, sir, I think sure.
Hmm. Keep these questions coming because this startup is a science when it is developing, when the rules are being formed, but it's an art when you apply it. So you might say, no, I will not go pinhole, I will go broad. I'll go very broad like a grass. And that's my strategy. Wonderful, why not? Um, but pinhole is also a strategy. Two millimeter wide, and we were acquiring a company called Canway. That time I was in Capgemini. Canway was a company focused only on financial markets. And we acquired it because they themselves said we are 2 inch wide and 5 mile deep. You talk of financial services, financial market, we are the dadas. We are the leaders in that segment. So go to market में भी सबसे important है, have you made an engine which will take off your rocket? You have to find leverageability. That's the keyword here. Leverage means you have to signal कि सर मैंने अपना marketing engine ऐसा बना लिया कि मुझे sales की भी कमी नहीं है and it can scale. मुझे customers कैसे discover करेंगे? क्या मैं बड़ी बड़ी एड्स दूंगा अखबारों में? विल माय सेल्स पीपल गो एंड मीट हिम? या रेफरेंस से लोग कस्टमर्स ही मेरे कस्टमर्स को बताएंगे? वी हैव टू थिंक वेरी डीपली एंड वेरी डिटेल्ड अबाउट इट कि हाउ विल योर customers discover you is the biggest point. We usually fail in answering these questions, that how will my customers discover me? And then what is my CAC, customer acquisition cost? At what cost am I acquiring customers? For every customer, do I have to travel? Do I have to spend so much time? Who sells? इस कंपनी में बेचेगा कौन? सेल्स साइकिल कितना बड़ा है? 1 साल, 2 साल, 2 महीने, 2 दिन, 2 घंटे? Okay, but usually we hear like we will use digital marketing and partnerships. They don't fly. अगर आपने सेल्स को डिटेल में नहीं समझाया पॉइंट बाय पॉइंट कि आई विल, दिस इज एग्जैक्टली व्हाट आई डू, most likely you will not be selected in the PPT, in the pitch. So like we said, product market fit, owner's capability, de-risking, मोड क्या है आपका, और आपका कंपटीशन के साथ रिलेटिव पोजीशन क्या है, एंड गो टू मार्केट. When you go to market, of course, you'll face competition, and many times we have heard saying we have no competition. Okay, now who is the competition? Give me an answer to a movie house or a movie hall which is opened in your locality. Who is the competition?
So now OTT.
Very right, OTT is competition. Who else could be competition, sir? Anyone, please go ahead. Who else could be the competition? OTT could be one competition. Anybody who is offering entertainment, the person wants to be entertained. So क्रॉस कैटेगरी कंपटीशन, ही माइट से नहीं मूवी नहीं चलो कुछ खाना चलते हैं, खाने नहीं चलो कुछ प्ले देखने चलते हैं, अरे यार शॉपिंग चलते हैं, और ये नया कुछ खुला है वहां चलते हैं, राइट? आई विद मी? So this is what we call share of wallet. When I was launching ICICI debit cards, and I was launching HSBC, I started that business in India. हम शेयर ऑफ वॉलेट ढूंढ रहे थे, शेयर ऑफ वॉलेट, कि मैं अपना जब पर्स निकालता हूं, मैं किस चीज पे खर्चा करता हूं. So my competition, usually when we say we don't have competition, we convey a very wrong signal saying that I have no competition. But the investors are thinking in this terms के आपका competition जो है, it may not come from the category but across the category, right?
Like, sir, I keep saying one thing. At the higher level of the ministerial level, the Ministry of Civil Aviation has a very high competition with the NHAI, Ministry of Roadways.
बिल्कुल.
Today, newspaper just said a lot of Shimla and other smaller airports have gone bust. There's no hardly any footfall. So the more the better roads and highways.
Certainly, certainly. So this is also linked to a economical concept which we investors rely on: elasticity of demand and inelasticity of demand. So if the sugar sales goes up, if the tea sales goes up, the coffee sales will come down because they're cannibalizing each other. Correct? So you're right. If the roads get better, airports business will fall. Railways get better, roads will fall. So you're very right. The competition across the category. Correct? So therefore, you should always show alternatives to your positioning. Always alternatives to positioning. So imagine if I was going to make a pitch for a private airport in Shimla or Himachal or hill areas to an investor and say, look, I'm building this airport, so many flights will land, etc., etc., etc. And the investor says, okay, what will you do if the roads become better? So then I should have an answer of repositioning my business. Okay, I could say, okay, I will convert my airport to only a cargo airport where large amount of cargo can land, because the cargo would ideally have to come in a train. And these roads are better, but the railway network is still poor. So cargo is what I will specialize in. Or worst case scenario, I'll say I'll convert my airport to, a landing place for aircrafts nearby. The rate of landing in a Chandigarh or Delhi and keeping the airplane for overnight is much more than the airplane flying here and resting the night here. So we have to be very, very clear of positioning my business. We were working with a very nice fruit orchard business incubation idea. He said, boss, if my fruits don't come at the right season, and if my crop is destroyed, I will give them on lease for shooting and for vacations. So de-risking is what investors like. So you should have some repositioning idea. This is called repivoting, right?
Right.
Make sense? So very valid question. Across the industry, your competition can come. Now we come to the team. Investors invest more in the team than in ideas. Why? Because ideas can fail. So the teams, getting a right person is something which the person has worked over a lifetime. That person has evolved into a professional, into a businessman, or into a specialist or an expert, or somebody like you over a long period of time. So they value teams more than ideas. So ideas can come from the investor also. Ideas can come from the market. But is the team gelling well together? How long have they been together? what are the different skills they bring to the table, etc., etc. So you have to highlight why this team, not because we have friends in school, he's my cousin. You have to, of course, that gives you stability of trust, but then skill matching. Okay, relevant experience, of course, this is all simple common sense, execution capability, and not long resumes. Just say this person is so and so, because the more information we give, the more likely we're creating a doubt of questions in their mind. So team is very, very critical. Many times I've been working with a cybersecurity firm. The person was ex Infosys head of cybersecurity. He and a few people came together. They came to me, and I joined them for advisory. The team got funded for $2 million, which is like 15 crores, 18 crores now. Just the team. You just put the PPT. This is the idea. He knows somebody who's a global head of cybersecurity knows much more than cybersecurity than anybody else in his near competition would. And the other person was CFO, who has been working in IT companies and turned around many companies. So the team itself got funded by on the name. I got funded many times on just on the name. आप हैं तो ये check उठाइए. So team is very, very critical, my friend. Execution capability, demonstration, relevant experience. Any thoughts on team or any questions here? Okay, I'll share a situation with you. Many times the investor would come and say, I don't want your CTO. I will change my CTO. They will ask you this hypothetical question that, okay, I will join you, but you have to let go of your technical head. What do you think would be answer?
Definitely no,
Mhm.
because he is the person who is the key for production. And if that required to be changed, investors should give a valid replacement.
Correct. Correct. So, but if the reality is that he has outlived his contribution and definitely somebody else is required, then you are saying then we will change it.
Yes, sir, definitely.
Very right, Vikramji.
That's why I told replacement alternative.
I like it. I like it. Many times the investor will say, I will invest in your company provided you step down. Correct? I don't want you to be the CEO. I will manage the affairs. You please exit the business. What will you do?
Okay, give me a good reward for my risk taking and building a team and
Ji,
giving this very good business that you are so much interested to buy.
very right. Very right. I agree with you. Rahul just came online. Rahul, you have some question?
No, 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 that's fine. That's okay.
But feel feel
I'm just
feel free. I felt encouraged by seeing you on screen.
Acha. Nothing. It's a nice conversation happened. I
Ji,
mean, going on. So I'm enjoying the conversation so far.
ji, ji, ji. So you're right, Vikramji. You're right. He has to give you a good reason, but there
But
are ji Rahul.
the only thing being a founder, I think should not be that rigid as well. अगर वो बोल रहा है step down, तो it's okay to be step down. तो मतलब मैं this is what I feel it today after spending couple of years being a founder. आज
Ji,
मेरे को ऐसा लगता है कि rigidity could be a concern at a later
ji,
stage. तो
ji,
rigid नहीं होना चाहिए. अगर
ji,
वो बहुत वैलिडिटी है और एक स्केलिंग एबिलिटी है आपके साथ जुड़ने की
ji,
और बढ़ने की, तो अगर वो स्टेप डाउन भी आपको होना पड़ता है तो यू शुड बी ओके फॉर दैट एज वेल बिकॉज इवेंचुअली यू नीड
ji.
टू सी योर बिजनेस ग्रोइंग.
What business do you have, Rahul?
I'm into a FMCG space. I'm into coffee and tea beverages.
Lovely,
So
nice.
we do blending and roasting of coffee,
Oh,
and
lovely.
at the same time blending of tea, and then B2B we are
Ji,
doing at the
ji.
moment.
Wonderful, wonderful. So I absolutely agree with you. Many times you have to step down as a CEO and let people take charge
Yes,
because you want the idea and business to be successful and not just your ego.
true, true.
But then I also agree with Vikramji that see there has to be a strong reason and not just a politically motivated situation where he just wants you out of the system to gain control. There are some political battles which we always see in the boardrooms, that isko nikalo, isko hatao. Because they just want to have political control of the affairs. So we have to.
And this too depends upon the stage of a business, I believe. अगर
जी
शुरू में है और बिजनेस का सर्वाइवल की बात है,
जी
और if he's I mean if he's struggling to find कि मेरे को कैसे स्केल करना है या मेरे को अपना कैसे रहना है मार्केट में, तो he should be open for the
At
things
the
that you mentioned.
same time, I think if we
Depends on the
refuse
stage
to
of
shut down, there could be other strategy of aggressive acquisition also.
Sorry, Rachid, I couldn't get your question.
Like, there are nowadays like a lot of business doing aggressive acquisition by buying the shares and maybe like the merger M&As.
जी हाँ, hostile takeovers किए हैं हमने भी कुछ. I've been a part of the merger and acquisition all my life. I was the global head of HCL Technologies. Before that, I was in E&Y. So, Rahul, you want to comment to that? Okay. So, हाँ जी, Rachid. So, hostile takeovers होते हैं, definitely. So this is a war out there. Uh, very much a possibility. Very much a possibility.
All right.
Vendors की acquisition हो जाती है. We were struggling with linking my monitors through AI to my command center जो मैंने ICUs बनाए हैं. So my vendor was poached by a very big brand, international brand. So hostile takeovers होते हैं. But coming back to our chain of thought, where we were moving forward towards the fact that the team is very critical, and the cohesiveness of the team, the understanding of the team, and there's a very nice concept called the golden circle. I'm tempted to share that with you if you allow me, and many of you might have heard about it. Now, golden circle concept says that why are you starting a business, or why are you in the model of business? Now, the golden circle says why usually we are communicating to the market, and as a specialist of communication, also I have seen brands communicate what we do rather than why we do it. But businesses which convey why we do something uh, are more successful, and I'll just explain to you in a minute. We usually connect with the why of a business. Okay? Why is Apple so successful? Because they have taken up innovation as a serious subject. Why are German or Japanese cars so successful? Because they have taken up engineering as a mission, quality as a philosophy ingrained in their day-to-day lives. So we are saying, oh, these persons are so driven by the why part of changing the world forever. Okay, of doing something so drastic that the world would never be same again. Uh, is the situation of being driven by the why. Now, when Wright brothers were trying to discover the plane, there were two, three other people who were also at the same time trying to invent a flying machine, and they were heavily funded. They were heavily funded. There was money, and they had all the newspapers looking at them. Uh, and the Wright brothers had no such luxury. And one day, the Wright brothers were told that, oh, somebody has discovered the flying machine already. But the reaction was, oh, wonderful. And they continued to work on their own flying machine. Well, that news later on was found to be a rumor. But when they finally did fly, took the first flight, that news spread to the other company, which was very heavily funded, and the media was all hopes on them. You know what was their reaction? They shut their shop the next day. That, oh, somebody has already done it. So what's the lesson in the story? The lesson in the story links back to our earlier discussion. If you're driven by the why, that I will make this world a better place, then you are more mission driven, you are more business model and advantage driven rather than the personal, fame or name driven. So in the example we were just discussing, and we had a lot of good views around it from all of you, there has to be a fine balance of a mission versus personal ambition as well. That's what we and many investors look at, because there would be a situation where they would get somebody smarter in the room and say, look, the mission has to survive and it has to go beyond you, or you have to sell it off. We have a different idea about it. We want to scale it to a different level. They're very, very detached to conversations. So the Golden Circle, I would encourage you to read. They're very nice videos on this, which explain, I don't have the time to take you through the video right now, but they explain why is more important. And then comes how, and then comes what. For
So at
example,
this point, I
yes,
also just wanted to ask, like in this, the example you gave for the Wright brothers, wouldn't like what is going on right now, the collaborative approach would be more fruitful for the business as such?
Ji,
Like
ji,
if they would have together made some more advanced flying planes
जी
instead of
जी
shutting it off.
एब्सोल्युटली. सो हमने अभी इनोवेशन सेंटर बनाया, फ्रिस्को में मैंने बनाया, और एक मैंने डॉयचे टेलीकॉम के साथ बनाया. उसको हम कोऑपरेटिशन कह रहे हैं अभी. कोऑपरेटिशन, कोऑपरेटिंग कंपटीशन, उसका एक्रोनिम बना है कि कंपटीशन शुड कोऑपरेट, एंड मेनी टाइम्स कंपटीशन डज कोऑपरेट to raise the level of the industry. I think that's what you're alluding to, right?
Yes, that's right.
So competition is a very recent phenomena in the startup world. यहाँ पर हम एक इकोसिस्टम बनाते हैं जहाँ कॉम्पिटिटर्स फियर्स फाइटिंग, कोक और पेप्सी आपस में आके खड़े हो जाते हैं, और वो टुगेदर काम करते हैं कि अर्थ का वाटर टेबल कम हो रहा है, हमको वाटर के बिना हम सर्वाइव नहीं कर पाएंगे, हमारे को इतनी कोल्ड ड्रिंक्स बनानी पड़ती है, तो क्या किया जाए. So ये slowly we are getting maturer and much more long vision than myopic. We are able to see beyond our nose. So competition is becoming very popular. But the idea is the world order is moving towards the why. Now why में क्या है? जैसे Starbucks कहता है, we believe that if you are well fed, you will have a better day. यहाँ से उसका belief शुरू हुआ. And then say how we do it. How do we fill your stomach? We fill your stomach early in the morning with a nice sumptuous breakfast. And what do? We sell you coffee with some cookies or some snacks on the side to take along. So their belief that you have a good day if you are well fed is how the business was evolved. And then of course marketing slogans and campaigns came in later. So why? Apple said we would challenge the obvious. We would be able to give you a good design and technological superiority at the same time. Why can't it be done? It can be done. So this is what we believe in. We believe that we can push the human intellectual and spirit to a level. Yeah, design and technology are supreme simultaneously, and that's why. And how we do it? We have processes, we have this, that, and by the way, we make phones. So my phone is a testimony. A German car is a testimony of the engineering and not just a car. And we buy that, because of the excellence, right? So, and therefore the brands are, and this very, very beautifully links to many other aspects. And that's why brands are able to launch many other products. So Apple जो भी launch करता है, वो successful हो जाता है. वो iPads हो, उसके phone हो, Apple TV हो, desktop हो, because the unifying force is buy. So it links back. On some other day I will probably go to a deeper workshop of how business modeling के वक्त पे हम इसको कैसे inculcate करते हैं. Founders philosophy, founders personality, founders business model, to the why, to the mission, etc. तब जाके ये this becomes. And I was talking to you about the innovation circles. Let me also bring it up for you. So these are the innovation circles. Give me a moment. I'll just put it up for you. And this is how it links. So if you look at this is how we get started when we usually start making a business plan. Like I said, desirability, the human part, the feasibility, the technical part, and the viability. Can I make a business out of it or not? So this is where the sweet spot of our innovation is. You have to validate your idea. You have to validate your idea by being in the middle. If you don't have viability, this innovation won't pay for itself. It will be always funded. This is a risk which investors avoid. Usually, you get a grant initially, but they expect you to move to a business model, right? But if you have a feasibility and there's no viability, not fit for the purpose, and you if there's desirability and no viability, you can't deliver. So these different permutation combinations we play and look at the business model, and then we look at the why of it, and from the why comes the runway. How long are you going to work on the problem, and how much resources do you have? What is your burn off rate, etc., etc. But this circle, I would leave behind you in your memories to always look at कि मैं कहाँ पे हूँ. और इसके ऊपर बहुत अच्छे अच्छे आर्टिकल्स लिखे हुए हैं, अगर आप इसको कभी पढ़ेंगे as a subject, so you can look at that. So this is what we say, the team is very critical, and of course then comes the financials. The financials are very closely linked, as you all would know. Revenue projection logic, आपका revenue कितना आएगा, आपका cash flows कितने हैं, cost drivers क्या हैं, burn rate, runway, as I was talking, right? Uh, they are the masters at restructuring your finance. And some of you who already have a business, like my colleague was just telling, they would know that they're master planners at revenue planning, and sourcing of funds, application of funds, etc. They're not looking for a perfect accuracy. They're looking for realistic thinking. Are you real or not? Because that is what they have to work with as a personality. This many times we found that if the person is unreal, he is more philosophical and is more a dreamer than a hard-nosed, practical business person. No matter how good the idea might be, no matter how good the space be, it's difficult to convince people at times to take hard decisions. So therefore, they're looking at realistic thinking in financials. Otherwise, all these. Now the ask, what is it that you ask? It's very important. How much is the funding? What will it be used for? Many of us are not clear. I used to give about 9 crores of grant as part of my campaign availability to people, but many times they were not clear कि मैं इस पैसे का करूंगा क्या, down to the last penny, और मैं क्या milestone achieve करूंगा. Correct? So, I'm raising 3 crores to reach 2 crore average return of ARR in 18 months. It's a very nice, clearly stated example. But people say, मुझे आप 5 crore दे दो, sir. When you ask them, what will you do? What will your annualized rate of return? What will be your, significant milestones? There's no clarity. So application of funds has to be very, very nicely signaled. And this is again something which we have to learn as an art. Very critical. Okay, मेरी ask क्या है? What turns them off? As I said, unrealistic projections, no traction but big valuation. कोई traction नहीं है, business नहीं है, and many times many investors are bad for your business. Now let me also share that part with you. They'll come, they are masters at ballooning your valuations, because remember they are ballooning your money. Suddenly they come, you are a 1 crore company, they'll make your valuation about 50 crores and they will exit. They're able to exit at 50 crores valuation because the masters are at the game of hallucination. Now suddenly you are a business which has big valuation, but there's no meat in it. So this game sucked on you and destroyed you. So we have to be very careful. If fund lena hai ki nahi lena, who are the people behind it, what is the capability, what's the track record, because these monsters are also looking out for innocent, naive startup founders. Jinko aake. I was recently talking to a person who's raising 70 million for a company in Malaysia. And I set up a meeting of his today with one of the very big, large funding company, because he burnt his hands. He says, Ajay, they were pumping money like 1,500 crores, but I didn't know कि वो valuation game में इतने ज़्यादा थे कि my business would have sucked. Too many buzzwords, AI, blockchain disruption without substance. They turn investors off. Lack of clarity on customer. Who is my customer? Who is my ICV और ICP? Ideal customer profile. मेरा ICP कौन है? Ideal customer कौन है मेरा? ICP हम उसको कहते हैं, वो define होना चाहिए. Is it a man? Is it a female? Is it what age? Where does he live? What does he do? What occupation? What is the financials? उसकी earning कितनी है? Disposable income कितनी है? Habits क्या है? Personality type क्या है? Down to the 15-16 levels. इतना clearly ICV define होना चाहिए. Ideal customer profile. So this turns the investors off. And the reality is that can they scale? Can the founders execute? Is the risk manageable? And they're not asking, is it the most innovative idea? Many times people come and say, that, oh, I've got this idea. No, they're saying, no, just tell me, is it scalable? Can you execute it? And is the risk manageable? That's the only reality they want for fundraising. So many times we are romanticizing the idea, as you all know, doesn't go far. Founder does not understand the real customer is a big problem. No clarity on who signs the check. कि ये मेरे को पैसे कौन देगा, B2B में या B2C में. Product described from a technical lens, no, not user pain. Like I said, पेन क्या आप सॉल्व कर रहे हो, टेक्नोलॉजी की बात हम नहीं करेंगे. एंड इन्वेस्टर सोचते हैं दिस फाउंडर लव्स द प्रोडक्ट मोर देन द मार्केट. आई लव्ड व्हाट रचित सेड इन द बिगिनिंग. इट्स ऑल अबाउट द मार्केट. मार्केट के ऊपर आप फोकस करें, कस्टमर के ऊपर फोकस करें, चैनल के ऊपर फोकस करें, गो टू मार्केट पे फोकस करें. एंड द रेवेन्यू लॉजिक डज नॉट एड अप मेनी टाइम्स. मार्केट साइज बड़ा है, सेल्स प्लान बहुत वेग है, अनरिस्ट्रिक्ट ग्रोथ कर्व्स है, नो कैक अंडरस्टैंडिंग, कॉस्ट ऑफ एक्वायरिंग कस्टमर बिल्कुल पुअर है. इफ दे डोंट अंडरस्टैंड रेवेन्यू ड्राइवर्स नाउ, वो कभी नहीं सीख पाएंगे. दिस इज द मोस्ट क्रिटिकल. मैनी इन्वेस्टर्स वी फाइंड दैट वो कहते हैं सर मैं बाद में सीख लूंगा. बाद में आप नहीं सीख पाओगे, बिकॉज आप अभी मोस्ट क्रिटिकल फेज में हो. अभी आपको यू शुड बी वेरी वेरी सो मैनी पीपल से दैट बिजनेसमैन जो है ऑलरेडी हमारे इंडिया में, वो क्यों सक्सेसफुल है? उनको धंधे का पूरा मालूम है, एक एक रुपए का हिसाब, एक एक पैसा कहाँ खर्च हो रहा है. तो दिस इज द सम टोटल ऑफ व्हाट आई हैड टू शेयर टुडे. एक क्यूरियोसिटी प्रिंसिपल है. दिस द लास्ट स्लाइड. जितना आप डेटा दे सकें, जितना आप प्रोडक्ट डेमो दे सकें, कस्टमर के रेफरेंसेस दे सकें, सब कुछ फर्स्ट डेक पे नहीं आप आंसर करिए, क्योंकि कॉमन मिस्टेक यही है फाउंडर्स की. सब कुछ योर आइडिया इज टू सीक अ सेकंड मीटिंग. योर आइडिया इज टू सीक अ मीटिंग. आपने पीपीटी भेजा है तो सिर्फ ये सोचो मुझे मीटिंग ढूंढनी है, मुझे फंड नहीं रेज करना. पहली मीटिंग में गए हो तो आपका आइडिया होना चाहिए मैं सेकंड मीटिंग में इतना उसको एक्साइट कर दूं, इतना उसको कन्विंस कर दूं कि वो सेकंड मीटिंग दे, जहां वो आधा घंटा दे मुझे या 1 घंटा दे और लोगों को बुलाए. सो थोड़ी क्यूरियोसिटी रखनी बहुत जरूरी है. अब मुझे बड़ी अच्छी एडवाइस मिली. आई वाज सेलिंग, आई हैड एन आइडिया जब हम बजट इशू चला रहे थे. आई हैड एन आइडिया एंड देन आई स्टार्टेड. 6 महीने में मैं जाकर के उसको अपने फाइनेंशियल दिखाने लगा. तो मुझे उसने कहा, एंड दिस गाय इज द हेड ऑफ इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर फाइनेंसिंग इन इंडिया, वेरी नोन गाय. इसे अजय आप एक गलती कर रहे हो. आपके पास अभी 6 महीने हुए, आपको इस नंबर्स जो है ना, वो नंबर्स आपकी वैल्यूएशन को कम कर रहे हैं और आपका आइडिया बहुत बड़ा है. तो आप 6 महीने में नंबर्स पिच मत करें, आप क्यूरियोसिटी रखें. आप 6 महीने में अपना आइडिया बताएं और ट्रैक्शन दिखाएं. देखो जी आइडिया मेरा ये है और मेरी ये ट्रैक्शन मुझे मिलने लग गई है. बट डोंट गिव नंबर्स के इतने पेशेंट आ गए, इतना रेवेन्यू आ गया, इतना मेरे को बिलिंग हो गई. आप आइडिया की वैलिडिटी को दिखाएं and then let his imagination run to levels unimaginably. तो ये बड़ा इंपॉर्टेंट है. many times we hold back the numbers and let the imagination run, but I convince enough कि हम execute कर सकते हैं. हमें ट्रैक्शन मिल रही है, कस्टमर्स आ रहे हैं, लोग आ रहे हैं, टेस्टिमोनियल्स मिल रहे हैं, हमें अवार्ड्स मिल रहे हैं. अब आप इमेजिन करिए कि ये बिजनेस कहाँ जा सकता है. दैट्स व्हेन you widen the vision. So that's all I had to share, gentlemen. There's not much rocket science here. It's more about experience, and which we gain more by dwelling more and more into it and just keeping a few principles. And I'll just end here and take any questions you have. I hope you liked discussion the discussion so far.
Um, Really, very nicely. We enjoyed sir, this knowledge, which is unique, and the presentation, the way you presented, it will permanent in our mind.
So I'm glad, Vikramji. You can all connect with me on LinkedIn. I'm very happy and I'm an enthusiast of this subject. You find me on LinkedIn. Any question you have anytime, drop it my way. I may be able to answer it or put you to somebody who can answer it or offer my network to you.
So nice of you, sir. Thank you very much.
Pleasure, Vikramji.
इंसाइटफुल सेशन सर, काफी कुछ सीखने को मिला, आपसे समझने को मिला.
Thank you, Rahulji. It's all exchange of knowledge. I could learn a few things from you, from your experience someday.
डेफिनेटली
Hmm.
काफी आपको ग्राउंड की चीजें ही बता सकते हैं हम, तो हमने तो ग्राउंड में काम किया है.
थोड़ा
So,
बताएं आप ग्रुप को, थोड़ा कुछ आइडियाज अपने बताएं.
मतलब फाउंडर, बीइंग अ फाउंडर, से डेफिनेशन ही नहीं है कोई मेरे अकॉर्डिंग. तो आज अगर मैं अभी भी बताऊं, अभी भी आप आसपास देखोगे तो काम पे लगे ही हुए हैं सभी. देखो.
देखो, that's the life of a founder. That's the
आ,
courage of a founder. बिल्कुल.
तो कोई भी, इट्स जस्ट मेरे ख्याल से वर्ड्स हैं, इट्स प्ले विद द वर्ड्स. जितनी भी चीजें हैं, इट्स प्ले विद द वर्ड्स. ऑन इन रियलिटी एग्जीक्यूशन इज द ओनली वर्ड जिसपे मेरे को लगता है कि जो मेरे को सबसे बड़ा वर्ड लगता है
हाँ जी.
आज की डेट में, बीइंग जो मैं काम कर रहा हूँ उसमें.
हाँ
अगर
जी.
एग्जीक्यूशन आदमी को आती है और वो उसकी सही बैठ गई एग्जीक्यूशन जिस डायरेक्शन में वो चला रहा है,
हाँ जी.
दैट इज, एंड ही शुड नो हाउ टू सेल. तो एग्जीक्यूशन, सेल, एग्जीक्यूशन प्लस सेल इज इक्वल टू एंटरप्रेन्योर. आई थिंक जो ये दो चीजें जानता है वो एंटरप्रेन्योर है. दैट्स इट.
गोल्डन वर्ड्स हैं.
हाँ
एग्जीक्यूशन और सेल ही तो है.
हाँ जी.
डिलीवरी और सेल्स बेसिकली.
यस यस. सो
बहुत
आई
वेरी वेल सेड.
बिलीव, I think these are the two things which a founder should learn by heart. कि हाँ हाँ जी. तो ये दो चीजें अगर आ गई तो दैट्स इट आई थिंक. एंड हाँ, मैं आपसे काफी कुछ, वी आर इनटू B2B स्पेस सो फार.
जी.
अभी हम B2C में एंटर कर रहे हैं. तो आई वुड लव टू नो कि किस तरीके से हमको, क्योंकि चैलेंजेस उसमें ऑल टुगेदर डिफरेंट है.
जी जी. मैं
और
हल्दीराम मेरा क्लाइंट है. हल्दीराम की एक्सपेंशन मैं देख रहा हूँ सर.
ओके, व्हाट डू
तो
यू, क्या कर रहे हैं एग्जैक्टली?
हल्दीराम का रिटेल बिजनेस QSR मॉडल कैसे लेके जाना है, कैसे
ओके
एक्सपेंड करना है और उसकी सारी फैक्ट्री ऑटोमेशन कैसे करनी है, वो हम देख रहे हैं. तो एनी टाइम आई विल बी हैप्पी टू. चायोस इज माय क्लाइंट.
चायोस हमारा भी क्लाइंट है, बट वी विल ओनली सप्लाई. आई
जी
मीन
जी.
वी आर सॉर्ट ऑफ वेंडर टू
अच्छा अच्छा. किस
चायोस.
नाम से आपकी आपकी ब्रांड या कंपनी?
हमारा ब्लांच नॉयर कॉफी का ब्रांड है हमारा.
ओके.
और एक प्राइवेट एंटिटी है हमारी, प्राइवेट लिमिटेड कंपनी है, उसके अंदर सर्टेन ब्रांड्स बनाए हैं, अम्ब्रेला
वंडरफुल.
ऑफ. हाँ जी. तो उसमें अभी तो B2B स्पेस में ही है, तो इतनी रिकॉग्निशन नहीं है हमारे ब्रांड्स को. तो तो ग्रेजुअली आई थिंक जब हम B2C में जाएंगे, देन वी कैन बी रिकॉग्नाइज्ड एज अमंग द
डेफिनेटली.
कस्टमर्स.
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल. ऑल द बेस्ट.
हाँ जी.
ग्रेट ग्रेट गोइंग.
हाँ जी. थैंक यू.
Chaliye, I think within the group we also have many people who would have a lot of experience. And Dr. Sadaf, if there's a common WhatsApp group or something where we all can stay together, then it's a great resource.
Basically, we do have a WhatsApp group by the name of Create Your Startup (CYS).
जी जी जी. I'm a
So
part of it. Yeah.
yeah, we all are connected there. We can talk there and share, do dialogues and discussions over there.
ठीक है. So I remain available for any questions. If somebody has a question now, please feel free to ask. Or whenever you want to catch me on a WhatsApp group, LinkedIn.
Definitely. It was a wonderful session. I would like to say that, and I really extend my sincere thanks to you, Ajay ji,
Thank you.
for delivering such an insightful, enriching, engaging. It was basically a great engaging session. So everybody was
Thanks,
engaging
Archit.
and
Thank you.
they were participating, and it it's good to see that
Thank you so much.
when we get the participation from everybody. And I hope that this session will help our budding entrepreneurs create a compelling pitch which they are going to present before investors on 28th Feb and 1st March. So these 2 days are fixed for pitching. We have a pitching event, fundraising event on those 2 days.
Thank you,
And
Bonsai Works and Sadaf.
yeah,
I can offer you my services to look at your decks if you want, pitch decks before you present to presenters. If anybody wants to run it past me for some ideation, I'm not an expert, but I can give you some alternate views if you like. So I can offer that, Sadaf.
definitely, we are moving forward in that direction. Right now, everybody is being assigned a task. They have to prepare the pitch deck, and before 20th of this month, they are going to share it on the Google Classroom. And I have also added you as a teacher in that Google Classroom.
Okay,
Yeah,
perfect,
yeah.
perfect. I can check.
So I'm looking forward to their pitch decks. We'll be refining and we'll be, giving our suggestions, what we think should be incorporated, and basically it will be an internal evaluation, and then only we'll let participants pitch in front of actual
Perfect.
investors.
Thank you so much, Sadaf, for having me here, and everyone for encouragement. Rachit, Rahul, Vikramji, Bonsai Works, and others. God bless you. Have a great entrepreneurial journey, and let's remain in touch.
Definitely. Thanks everybody.
Bye bye.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Bye bye. Good day. Bye. Thank you.